The Vipassana Retreat. In recent times, the Buddhist meditation known as Vipassana has become popular all over the world, with Western psychotherapies have taken it up as well as ordinary people who have found it beneficial in coping with the stresses and strains of modern life, and many are increasingly taking time out to attend these Vipassana meditation retreats. While rather challenging, Vipassana meditation can be done quite successfully to some extent in everyday life on a casual, occasional basis, as long as the practitioner has a long-term commitment. But more realistically, for the practice to deepen, it is best done in a supportive retreat environment where the meditator can be totally focused on the practice. As Vipassana meditation is a developmental practice, and it has to be sustained with appropriate intensity to realize its ultimate benefits. This requires supportive conditions such as have been itemized in the Visuddhimagga, or the path of purification, as the 7 types of suitability. They are place or dwelling, a well-furnished and supportive center or monastery, secluded and quiet, easy accessible, few insects, with the basic requirements of food, clothes and medicines. A location, not too far or close to town. Food, a balanced diet, healthy, digestible and nourishing, taken in moderate amounts. The people, other meditators as companions who are considerate with good attitude and practice. The teacher, a learned and respected teacher who speaks and listens well. Noble silence, other than during Dharma talks and interviews with the teacher. The weather, not too hot or cold, that is, ideally a temperate climate. The Vipassana Retreat Center catering for lay people is quite a recent trend in Buddhism, originating in Myanmar after the Second World War, when the Burmese Prime Minister U Nu, a keen meditator, invited the late Venerable Mahasi Sayadaw to teach in a meditation center he set up in Yangon, the Mahasi Sasana Yukta. This was the beginning of a modern revival of Vipassana meditation. While originating in Myanmar, it soon spread to other Theravada Buddhist countries in Asia, and then later to retreat centers in the West. So now there are many Vipassana retreat centers specializing in the needs of practitioners that have been set up around the world to cater for these requirements and conditions, usually to the exclusion of worldly, religious or study activities. A worldwide insight meditation culture has now evolved which caters for lay meditators who are not necessarily Buddhist and often with lay teachers, supported by senior monastic teachers in the lineage. This style of practice, while demanding, has proved to be popular as Vipassana techniques can be systematically taught. So now there exists a pool of knowledge and experience with a variety of trained teachers in many different countries. An introductory retreat usually lasts 2 or 3 days, whereas intensive retreats can run for 10, 20, or even up to 90 days. It is a requirement that the participants take the 5 precepts. The precepts are the foundation of all Buddhist training. The underlying principle is non-exploitation of yourself or others. With a developed ethical basis, much of the emotional conflict and stress that we experience is resolved, allowing commitment and more conscious choice. The retreats are conducted in noble silence, which besides no talking includes no communication through body language, no listening to music, no reading or writing except for brief notes to record the meditation experience. There are, however, opportunities to discuss the practice with the teacher during individual interviews or during group discussions. A typical retreat day begins between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. and usually ends around 9 or 10 p.m. with a rest period in the middle of the day after lunch. The whole day is spent practicing sitting and walking meditation together with cultivating continuous attention to the changing nature of one's moment-to-moment experience during daily activities. The retreat teacher gives evening talks to inspire and explain the practice, providing a time for questions and answers as well as conducting personal interviews, usually on every second day. An intensive Vipassana meditation retreat is a serious undertaking which requires effort and self-discipline. A retreat is not just a chance to escape the pressures of daily life, nor time out in which to do one's own thing. Rather, it's an opportunity to cultivate the Buddha's way of liberation through the practice of ethics, meditation, and insight. Walking this path, we can learn to abandon actions of body, speech, and mind that bring suffering to ourselves and those around us, and cultivate actions that bring happiness and harmony to ourselves and those with whom we are in relationship with. Above all, the Vipassana retreat is a situation that requires the meditator to leave aside mundane preoccupations and commit himself or herself to the training in order to attain insight that the Buddha declared has the potential to realize nirvana in this very life.